This is Wake, Chicago, April 4th, 2019, 5:30. I'm going to be testing out, showing the first pictures and videos I tried taking with that P900. Which I'm still test running with to see if I'm going to be able to use that kind of camera or not. It's very difficult to use if you got any problems with your arms, hands, shoulder. Uh, so for a person like me, it's kind of difficult to use. But I'm not knocking the camera. It's incredible, the zoom. I think this is one right here. I'm also, this is
Am I recording now? I don't know if I was.
Somehow I screwed up yesterday or the day before this. I thought I hit the record button. It was really bright out. You couldn't see the red light. I'm used to my Nikon. These are Canons, right? The P900, or is that Nikon? This is it here. It's a Nikon P900. The 24 to 2000 millimeter zoom lens. So this has an effectively a 2000 millimeter lens. My SLR, my good or decent Nikon, same brand, or is mine a Canon? Now I'm getting confused. My daughter's got a Canon, I think. I got the Nikon, and then I'm testing this Nikon here. A 2000 millimeter lens. I have that long. It's about a foot long. That's a 200 millimeter lens. And I used to think that was the cat's meow. You know what I mean? If you like cats. This thing is insane. That's 10 of those put together in a long tube, and all with a less than a foot long zoom lens. It's amazing how they're doing it. All right, here's some video I took yesterday. I think this was yesterday. Yesterday or the day before. And the sky here is turning more purple, is what my point is. And let me see if I got the sound on. Hang on. Do we got sound? I'm going to hit the sound. It should be desktop audio. Hang on. Let me try it again. I don't know if you could see this. Can you see this? Yes, you can. Good. Can you hear it?
Recording that whole time. So, I am documenting.
I'm going to turn my mic off for a second.
Chicagoland sky. We're 60 miles straight west of Chicago, per se. If you follow I-88, that main highway out, that's the direction straight west. I could smell. I just made homemade pasta. Check this out. I didn't make the noodles, but the noodles are imported from Italy. I showed you a video where I keep like some good water and all that just for an emergency, no less for daily use. And I was telling people, if you have any kind of swelling issues, and you'll know what I mean if you have them. If you don't, you probably will be among like the 1 in 3 that will, by whatever. But anyways, nobody listens until they have to listen. So if your body is swelling and you're having issues with, let's say, gluten, I'm not a doctor. However, I did find eating Italian home organic made pasta, which I just cooked. I'm going to show you the bag here in a second. Just ate it. My daughter and her friend ate it. They said they loved it. I don't see why they would lie to me. Everybody knows you don't have to. So everything in the sauce was also from Italy, and I did have hamburger meat in it. So I don't know the.
I think you get the point. You can see the sky. You hear me talking about life advice about swelling. That's basically what autoimmune diseases kind of wind up being, and that's why I started talking about the meal, because I'm finding this Italian organic noodles are way different than American wheat. Get it? The gluten allergies, etc. There's a lot of rumors out there that say gluten issues could be directly connected to the Monsanto change of the DNA of the wheat. Long story short, the wheat in Italy is not as contaminated and has not been as ruined as our wheat here. Now, they add Monsanto, or Monsanto as they should be called. They add the farmers will add, not only saturate crops, is how it used to be done. Now they actually build it into a lot of crops. The crop will sweat its own. Look at Doof coming in. He was sneaking in here. It will emit its own. Let me pause the sound, but play the music or play the video.
But
so here comes the cat. Anyways, try it out and see if it affects your stomach. If you got a stomach version of the autoimmune, or if you've got, as you see my gloves, these aren't because I'm cool, even though I am. These are not for that. There's a reason I wear these gloves. They put compression on the joints and helps me stay controlling of my fingers and the pain. So now that we got that out of the way, try the I'll show you the package again, not right now, but I will. The package at my local store is imported from Italy, and you could even get the sauce now. You can get the actual make your own gravy with imported from Italy sauce, and it tasted great. I had little side effects from it, and it tastes a lot better than gluten-free pasta. Sorry, gluten-free pasta, but it's hard to cook because you're using a rice-based flour, and so try it. If it doesn't help you, I'm sorry, but if it does, you're going to be happy you found the Italian pasta. Now, this camera, look at here side by side. These are a day, they may be 2 days. Let's see here. I gotta check. Look at the purple tint to this guy versus this guy. This was sunset the day after that one, I believe. Either way, one day is one day, the other day is the other day. Who cares what number's in front of it? The sky's purple on one day, and now it's not. That's my point. How about that? What was I?
But there really is none.
What knowledge was I throwing here?
So I'm gonna zoom in on the fire orange and see how it looks through this lens here. I don't have it on a tripod, so bear with me here.
This is when we had the fire-looking hot pinks and oranges.
And let me back it up.
I'm looking through old files here. Not old, but
I mean, the zoom is just incredible.
The camera's so sensitive, you gotta back up.
Which we've already seen on all these videos and so forth.
And even this P900 wasn't getting that fire.
There's an eagle's nest a couple miles from here, and I'm gonna practice.
This is last night.
Zooming in on it. Here's a nest. I think this is like a raccoon nest here. What are you doing, Cody? I hear Cody.
There's an eagle's nest nearby.
Oh, there's Doof. What are you doing,
Every time I
Doof?
go by, there's never anything in it.
Oh, look at that, Mr.
So the purple sky video was 2 nights before. This was last night.
Where were you, little doofster, huh?
Here's our little acrobat.
Look at you, the little
the crime kitty, they call him.
The bouncing kitty. Oh yeah, Roogie's mad. He can't dance like that.
Now,
right, Roog?
I don't know where this reflection is. Right there on his mirror.
What's the kitty doing up there?
Window.
Hey, Doof.
Hang on. Back it up. Now that Matman's caught it, now I'm looking for it as well. I don't have the quite right angles here though. This is the west sun setting behind this house here. Later in the year, it'll be over here. In the winter, it's over to the left. So the sun, just so you got your bearing straight, this fence is running on an east-west line. So straight west is like that house, this edge right here. The sun is just to the right of straight west, and then over time, it will land over this White House. But my question is, where is this light reflecting right here? Is it coming from the sun? And if so, or is the sun reflecting off of my glass mirror or my glass window, and this is picking that up? I can't tell what's in this picture. It looks like it's the side of my house. Or that could be my living room light. So I got to test this again. I'm hoping that this is related to the sun, is what I'm trying to say. I need a reflection to catch the same thing now. I want to get the Matman Jeff PX. If they can do it, I can do it. So that's what I'm looking for. In the meantime,
Right, Roo?
we could watch cats being
What's
cute.
the kitty
Now,
doing up there?
one other thing. I think it's in this video. In a second, there's a point where you're going to see a fog or a mist in this bottom right corner. That's why I drew my attention when I first watched this to that little reflection. Am I seeing the wisping that Jeff P caught on that tape in England initially, where it's not like a ghost or a mist that everybody thought it was? It's the spinning of that little black doohickey in the middle. Sorry if I offended any doohickeys out there, but it's nothing personal. Whatever a doohickey is, I don't know.
Hey, Doof. La 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 doofo. Cody wants a piece of that, right, Cody? He said, let me
Cody
tear up that
wants to
Kit
play
Kat.
so bad. He's like,
Yeah,
all these older
Cody, you're
animals
so
don't
mean,
want to
Cody.
play like I do.
Now, don't scare the kitty, Cody.
Yeah, you can see Doof scared.
Yeah, don't scare him,
That
Cody,
cat's
man.
shitting in his pants.
Don't you scare that kitty cat, Cody.
See ya, Doof.
See ya, Doof.
Yep, there you go.
And
I'm so
Doof the
predictable.
crime kitty is loose.
Okay, so
I'm
looking
no
bottom right.
rabbits
I think it's
to bring
coming up.
home. It's the springtime, and the rabbits deserve their little chunk of land too.
Yeah, I don't like when he goes and catches
We'll
rabbits.
see if he
for no
listens.
reason. That's why.
So far,
talking
so
to
good. He has not brought no strange critters home.
All right, I'm looking
I already
for
got
the
enough here
mist.
right now.
I think it's over
My
here on the
ferret,
bottom.
who is asleep. Otherwise, he'd be helping produce the show. He was pretty good. He made an appearance last night. Little ferret. I'll have to
You can see the sun
add
behind
him
that
into
tree.
the recap. I'm going to do a 360. This is the sky. 60 miles west, straight west of Chicago, downtown Chicago.
Which I believe was April 3rd.
With just a blue tinted
Now,
haze.
I think you're going to
Can't
see,
see
when I
stars.
come back around,
Yeah,
there's going to be a
I
mist.
hear airplanes, but I do not see them. That means
So these
you
planes,
might be able to hear it too.
you could definitely hear it. I want to see if the camera's
It's
got
got
a
some
zoom,
kind of
for it.
zoom
Hang
on it. Hang on.
Let's see if we could hear it.
It's got sound zoom. Can you hear it better? I'm aiming it in the direction.
Cody,
I want to see if the sound picked up
dog is going to screw
better. It's got directional zoom sound. So I aimed in the direction I assumed the airplane was in.
Let's play it back.
In the direction. I want to see if the sound picked up better. It's got directional
I can hear the
zoom
airplane
sound.
without headphones.
So I aimed in the direction I.
So, where's the mist I'm looking for? Hang on. It was in the bottom right corner. Oh, it may have been the beginning. Hang on.
Hi, this is Wag Chicago. I don't know how I didn't record yesterday properly.
Turn that down. Yeah, I screwed the whole thing up. It's when you're learning new equipment. I mean, it's gonna happen. Okay, right there. I think. Hang on, hang on. I may have to open this through an editor. Let's try it again. I'm pretty sure the bottom right corner you're gonna see that wisp right in here. It's just as the sun went over that house. It's right in here. Hang on. And I really thought it was that wisping. It looked like mist. Hang on, where is it? I think it's in the beginning. Right there. Hang on, hang on. Okay, you can see there's some reflection like right here. The sun is like right there. It just went over that house. It's going to be the bottom right corner. I just can't remember where it was. And now we're looking in the wrong direction. Hang on. It's got to be when it's near the sun. Right in here. Now watch. Let's see if anything pops in right here. Is it too late? Let me look out the window. It's been cloudy all day. Let me just make sure. I want to show you guys something. For those of you that are looking to get more equipment to do more sky stuff, but don't have a lot of money, garage sales are coming up. Look for these old, look at this, has got a broken antenna on it. These are old baby monitors or security camera. This part stays in the house. This part goes wherever you want to aim it. Okay? You can see the lights are on. It's got LED infrared lights. You can see it here. You put a chip in the top. It'll record motion. You can get this for $5 at a garage sale all day long. Okay? For those of you that are taking the quick shots, you know, the 1, 2, 3 minute clips every night, check this out. In the wintertime or the summertime, you will start seeing with the infrared light on. A lot of these you can turn it on or off. You turn it on, and you will see particles and stuff in the air that you can't see normally, just the way insects do, things like that. Let's see if we can find some. Hang on. Forget that wisp for now because it's being a pain in the ass. Let's see if I could find where I parked them. Some of these, I've been transferring files to this backup drive. Hang on. Let me see here. I don't know where it's parking some of this. Hang on. Let's try this one. Nope, that's the one with the light experiment. I believe that's the LED. No, this is outside. What is this? See this purple? What is this? This was when I was trying to work the camera. Look at, and it kept, I thought I was recording. Okay.
This is the way in Chicago trying to record a movie. There's some real clouds today by the sun.
These are the videos I thought
show
I wasn't
you. I have to
recording.
telephoto on, so it's up, showing up close. Let me get one further out. Trying to show you real clouds. See that?
Purple
they look like Simpsons show.
Like the air looks purple.
You look. That one might be a chemtrail, the way it's splitting up. I'll have to see this on the screen, what it looks like. Here's the sun.
These are just random video clips I took that I haven't published. I didn't put any of this together. These are like what you call your B-roll.
Right about there.
It's not really B-roll, I'm talking. Here. Something just looks weird. So, I'm talking, thoughts come out. You never know what's going to come out when I'm doing these tapes.
It looks so small.
Most of them I never publish or put up.
They have
now
to
with
be
Discord,
filtering the sky. I'm looking right at the sun.
Channel.
It's not even doing any reflections.
There's no, this does not look right? I mean, there's, here, let's see what we got here.
Alright, this is Wag Chicago. I just noticed I have a LED.
Yeah, that's the LED light one I did. We'll just save that for later. I already did a video on that. That's in my room at night. That's outside at night. You can't tell the difference. If I played these side by side and asked you to pick out what was real and what wasn't, you couldn't tell. Guarantee you couldn't tell. Now, this was the night of that super blue, extra blue, super moon with the snake moon back in the end of December, I think it was. Remember, it had like 7 titles because every time we get a new moon, which is about every 3 months now, they got to come up with something. And it's been happening your whole life. Check that out. Does that not look like a marble that I did in my own house, right? Turn on that blue LED light, and that could be a pencil tip for all you know. But in this case, that was all I can get at the time of the total eclipse. So this was the total eclipse back in December, I think it was the 31st or whatever, which is freezing out. It had that little blue light on top. That's what I thought was weird. Where's the blue tint coming from? I said last year to many people, does anybody notice like a blue haze on the like 1 o'clock position? This one's at about the 11 o'clock, 11 to 1. Meaning straight up and down is 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. There's some kids today that don't know how to read the face of a clock that graduate high school. That's why I'm not kidding. I'm not explaining this to be an idiot. There's kids who don't know what I'm talking about when I say look at the 11 o'clock position. Look at the 1 o'clock. I am not kidding. Look at your kids' school books. They only go by digital watches now. There is no time clocks that they're taught about. We're down to thumbs up pictures, little drawings of a smiley face, thumbs up, smiley face, thumb down. We're going backwards, people. We're drawing pictures now to communicate through a high-tech electronic device. That's not an oxymoron.
This is Wag Chicago.
See, I kept trying to record it, and it like keeps cutting out. I don't know what's wrong with it. I know what's wrong. It's user error. That's what's wrong with it. Because I don't know how to use it. Now, I haven't shown this yet. Can I flip this? I wish I could flip this right now. See how the road has a red tint to it. Now, last summer, I did a video when I was on the Edens Expressway. I believe it was the Edens. And that had a similar red tint to it in the summertime. And I was thinking, is the UV light starting to fade the black tarred highways, or whatever you call the tar, asphalt, whatever it's called, okay? I'm not a road engineer, nor do I play one on TV yet. I am auditioning, though, if you're looking. There's music. So, we gotta turn the music off. There we go. So I'm driving down the highway, and I'm like, whoa, I'm about to get off. I think I have one of these exits up here, and I noticed, wait a second. It's about a month ago. This is the end of March, end of February. So, I'm like, wow, you could see between the shoulder right here. That's like the normal grayish colored road. versus the darker black highway, right? So check out how reddish colored this is. Now, some people are going to say, well, maybe it's the cranberry juice they use. Some towns are using that. These are all the state highways that I'm noticing this on. I've noticed it for the last 2 years, recorded it, documented it, and I thought of that because I'm not stupid. And there was no slushy snow that was red. There's no shoulder snow that was red. There's nothing that was showing that they just sprayed a red liquid anytime near this. The roads are dry. See the snow on the right? There's little patches of snow here and there. They're not red. So I think we could probably assume it's not the cranberry juice. And I think the UVC that's been documented hitting the ground for 2 or 3 summers now is already showing up on Mr. BB's channel. They're getting 0.03s, 0.04s already. It's not even summer yet. You know how much UVC you're supposed to get to the ground? 0.00. So that one's definitely above the safe, acceptable levels. All right, what else we got on here? This is like that guys show open tabs, but these are really open folders in a uploaded folder file. So we'll call it open folders. I don't know what this is. It's kind of fun. It's like a grab bag. What did I tape here? I think that's the moon. I think I'm outside because I hear coyotes maybe.
Looks like a weird swirl in there.
Let me check the chat.
I still can't focus this thing. Anybody else having trouble focusing on the moon tonight?
Here. I've mentioned this to Matt before.
Very strange.
Comments. I can't focus on the moon and sometimes the sun lately. Even with manual. I'm doing manual right here. Look. I'm doing manual focus.
Should be right around this part of the focus ring.
That meant I was in the infinity section.
There's a blue tinge to it. To the outer ring now on the photo, but not in visual. If you're looking at it, it's like a yellowish haze. Now it had the orange haze as it was coming up from the horizon.
I cannot get a clear focus on that moon.
Now it's at about 45 degrees up from the horizon. And on the digital end of it, that's why I think we're seeing ultraviolet light through the cameras. And probably little glimpses.
Look at the blue line around the moon there. Right where it ended. See this? There is a blue hue. Just like the sun in the daytime has that dark yellow, almost orange line. Looks like a jawbreaker. Those old kid jawbreakers, you cut it in half and you'd see the rings in there. And the outer ring was always the outer color of the shell. So in this case, let's say the candy chunk was blue. You would cut it in half, you would see the blue line right around that outer edge. That's what it looks like to me. This is the moon. Allegedly. I think those are coyotes. No, that's a dog, right? Is that dog? What do you think, dog? What do my dogs think?
Looks like a weird swirl in there. I still can't focus this thing. Anybody else having trouble focusing on the moon tonight? Very strange. It should be right around this part of the focus ring. There's a blue tinge to it. to the outer ring now on the photo, but not in visual. If you're looking at it, it's like a yellowish haze. Now it had the orange haze as it was coming up from the horizon, but now it's at about 45 degrees up from the horizon. And on the digital end of it, that's why I think we're seeing ultraviolet light
title is screwed up on my video
through the cameras, and probably little glimpses even.
Let's go fix this. I don't know why I changed this. I got it right here. Why is this not showing up? This should be the title of my show. And right now, it's showing the last video's title. I don't know why little things like this keep happening. It's like, it doesn't. And how do you fix it? How do I go in and fix it while I'm on the air? It gives you totally not the right. First thing is Studio Classic is a lot easier to use than this new crap. I keep trying to go with their system, and it's just not working out right. So the faster I get everything on Discord and find a backup, because I think we're all getting taken off here. The way they're changing the search engine, you can't find info, and soon the people with the short attention spans are going to forget the recent history even, and then there's nothing to go back and look at. When I think of a topic here, I will look it up and show you literally how they're changing it in lifetime. All right, they're still doing this. This picture has been up here March 23rd. They have not updated this. Hang on, let's make sure. $323. That was the day of the big storm that just suddenly disappeared. I haven't forgot about it. All you channels out there that covered this have forgot about it. One had a bullshitted reason why it didn't hit, and I didn't give you a BS reason it didn't hit. I told you maybe we got to reevaluate who we're getting our info from, and that opened up a whole bunch of cognitive dissonance in my head, because you have to get your information from the liars that have been caught lying to you, and they don't even say sorry. So even if they did, I don't care, but at least throw that in there. Sorry we lied to you. Sorry we have no reason why we're not updating some of our data. Now here, if you zoom in on this, there's 4.4. Now they're using these all the time. This little window here. Really? Since the 23rd, all this means nothing anymore. I hate to tell all you. People need to start asking questions. Don't just take it. Because if you just take it and go, well, I'm still going to use their info and I'm still going to report on it. Let's look. Did NASA explain officially how a geomagnetic storm that was not a possible clip, maybe the edge will hit us, it was a straight on, predicted by two agencies 6 hours apart? That was the only difference. Where did all that go? Radio silence. And I found the channel too. The guy who did the one the month before. Here's an explosion here. Watch here. Boom, going off this way. What's it hitting? What's this little box? Well, we could tell. It's like a pink. It's the Spitzer satellite. It's gonna get slammed. Okay, allegedly, because this is an estimate, right? So now this is just as stupid as all the channels who could not answer, because there is no answer. How the similar looking thing like this that was going this way to hit the little yellow dot, which would have been Earth, and it was all red because it was so high density and all this crap, right? What if by tomorrow this little blob suddenly goes through and slams Earth? Are we all going to just go, wow, I guess they guessed wrong? If they're telling you that there's a storm that just blew, that means they got video allegedly of the sun doing a little fart and it goes off this way and it's going to hit this satellite, right? And if it doesn't, nobody will know for the wiser, except for the handful of engineers that watch the Spitzer satellite. So now he's watching for the data to come across the screen that his handler in the other room is typing, all right, send over here. It's about 3 more minutes. Okay. The sun's what, 8 minutes away? Yeah, give 2 more minutes. All right, boom. So this little guy is sitting in his office getting the data he expects. Spitzer got hit 8 minutes after, just like it called for, blah, 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 blah. And that's how you have so many people working for somebody who is not playing the same game all his employees are playing. I'm saying is, if you have to trust this, that's the whole question. Why do you gotta trust? Just there's nobody else. Nothing. Not one independent billionaire with nothing to do. Like if I had billions of dollars myself, I won that lottery last week. $750 million. I'd spend a couple mil, throw up my own little weather backyard doohickey, and have the cameras and stuff. Why not? Be fun. There's no rich people out there that have that same itch that could afford to throw $10 million of equipment, $100 million, just for fun. Because if you're a guy like Elon Musk, who's a big spaceman, little rocket man, wouldn't he have his own shit? Like for fun? The best homemade amateur telescope, or the best this, the best that. Nobody's got nothing. There's nobody live streaming anything but higher than a frickin' P900. How come nobody even wonders this? Why nobody's wondered that? In all these years, all this technology, all the self-promotion, all the self-publication. You don't need an agent. You don't need nothing. You could just start your own channel. You're worth millions of dollars. Put up a couple cameras and start double-checking shit. Or you get 5 or 6 channels that cycle through, and another 5 will come around again. Another 4 or 5, they'll come around again. And it's the same 3-4 guys always pumping each other up. And guess what? They started their own private website, which is fine. If you got fans and they want to pay you, God bless you. Go start your channel, man. But that doesn't help. See, that tells me a couple things. That it was a business model from day one. Your networking was for business reasons, not for helping me learn, or anyone else that's in my channel learning or trying to learn. You see what that does when you go for that profit? When the money becomes your now the money in making t-shirts and codes and coupon codes and selling gold and selling vitamins and the whole same scam script that each one of these channels goes down? All in the name of, I'm for truth, I'm a truther, I'm a truth this, that, truth this, that, boop, bop. They wouldn't know truth if it bit them on the ass. Because they don't care about it. Now, ask them about profit or guilt. You better not touch the guilt. They'll know about that. And they'll say truth in their title to get the hits. But a real truther would do a video on this like I did at the tail end of my other one. You're command staff of a police department. These are the top of the top, the best of the best. Each guy in this room, in this picture, is making 6 figures each. And NYPD secret weapon for standoffs is a 5.5-inch piece of rope. Or 5 foot, I'm sorry. I think it's 5 feet. Yeah, 5.5 foot piece of rope. Now, if you're not a cop or military, you're not going to know why that's a problem. What is wrong with this picture? Well, there's a thing they used to teach. I don't know what they teach now, but they used to teach you not to stand in front of a doorway, because doorway is trouble. Because you can't see what's behind that door. And if the guy's crazy, or he's pissed off, or he's whatever, you don't know what he's doing. So it's best that you do not stand near that front door until you absolutely have to go in. And when you have to go in, I'm not going to go into it, but there's tactical things you do. So, to get out of that zone. And I don't even want to talk about it, because if you're in the job, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not, it doesn't matter, so don't worry about it. The point is, this is not a secret weapon to help the mentally ill. Because that's what they tell you in this article. They tell you that they're dealing with mentally ill, check for well-beings, things like that, right? So they will tell you that they go there to save the person who wants to kill themselves. Okay? So then you call the government in, and they're going to save a person who wants to die. How do they do that? They kill you. Most of the time. So, when it's not most of the time, not every, let me rephrase it. When it gets down to this point, most of the time, the guy's going to die. So, if the guy is barricading himself in behind the door, like they're kind of talking about here, they're saying the guy was behind the door, the little link, what do you call it, the lock chain was on, but the cop happened to peek his eyeball in there and saw that the guy possibly might have a gun, right? This is the scenario they're basing this new hero rope on. So, the police then, to buy more time, because lately, it seems like it's always the opposite. Everything's in a hurry. Let's get this over with, right? But in this case, they want to step back. Let's slow it down. And we're going to get out our 5 foot piece of rope. So now you're going to have to send one of these guys down. Go down to your squad, get in the trunk, grab or get your bag out of the car, and go get me a rope. And if it's not in there, ask the janitor of the building. He's probably got rope somewhere. Or knock on the door. You got any rope, butter, milk, cookies, whatever else you're going to need for this standoff. Here's the sad thing. These commanders, and they brag about this. This is why I don't think this is a joke. I thought it was a joke earlier when I started reading this. That this was a joke clip news. Like somebody edited this and made it look like it's AP. Let me just read you the beginning I'm not going to read the whole thing because it from a tactical point, this is the worst money spent on executives, and these executives make a lot of money. And here's what they get paid to say. New York Police Department has all the latest crime fighting tools, body cameras, which get turned off a lot, algorithms. AI now decides where they need to go, even drones, right? But it is now widely deploying a far simpler technology, a 5.5 foot or 1.5 meter. That's 3.3333, right? No, 1.5 would be 3.5. Never mind. To help officers deal with one of the diciest. Who's writing this? Oh, I don't know, because there's no name. Do you notice lately? Oh, this one has a name. The story I did a little while ago has no name. All the sources are secret. And just keep on moving. We just think we talked to somebody. And we could see that happens a lot because Alex Jones just testified on a deposition that on a certain school incident, he didn't do any research. He just ran with what everybody else reported and therefore didn't verify any of his sources. And then the lawyer goes, well, then your sources are anonymous emails. And then he's like, well, kinda. And then he goes, well, technically anything, even if it's written on a bathroom toilet wall, that could be a journalistic source of anonymous information. So they are using that tool, this guy that they built up, that they allowed to get all anybody who's not main, let's say, that's not obedient and doesn't want to believe there's crazy news, let's say. Let's just call it crazy news. So the crazy news, you're just like, I don't believe you. Oh, well, we'll get this guy. We'll build him up. We'll steal an identity of a DJ back in the 90s with the same name. Funny. But whatever. That becomes part of controversy. Then they throw in, hey, there's a comedian that looks just like him too. He suddenly dies. They're like, hey, da, da, da. You know why they do shit like that? Because it keeps people arguing about shit that don't matter. So now you're arguing over a jamoke, big mouth, modern day Archie Bunker. That's the character he's playing. You all know Archie Bunker. Anybody that's pre-internet, at least. Some of you may know this show I'm talking about, but I doubt it. So Archie Bunker, Archibald Bunker, when he would make those racist statements, those ignorant things. The guy had like 4 master's degrees in English. So the actor himself, Carroll O'Connor, I think was his name, he was a very smart, at that time they were called liberals. I want to show you something. It just popped in my head. For you young people, do you remember what this old man looks like here? Actually, he's probably my age in this show. That's scary. I used to love this guy. I loved his attitude. I loved how he was a big mouth. I loved how he just said what he was thinking. As a child, I did not know this was predictive programming. And then looking back at it now, you see the seeds they were planting even back then, which we didn't know because we didn't have internet and constant being able to repeat and rewatch. You would only see this episode again maybe a year or two later on a rerun. So if you missed the Tuesday night or whatever night it was on episode, you're SOL. So his name is Archibald Bunker. And if you look at this libtard, and the designer of the show or creator, whatever he's called, you'll recognize these people when you see them. But this guy now, he's a big bald, this goof here, meathead. He's a real life meathead. So he's the guy, he's a big producer now and all that. You see him. But anyways, whatever. So he's the son-in-law that's the crazy liberal left wing, blah, blah, blah. Then Archie is the ignorant me, basically. So like me, but stupid. And I'm just kidding. And he's got a big mouth. He's got no manners. He's a little rough around the edges. But in the end, he kind of says what most of his neighbors are thinking, but they won't say. Yeah, does this sound familiar? Then they have episodes about race, about this, about that. All the shit they wanted to get across, right? So watch these. They're funny as hell. The writing is. And back then, they say shit you could never say today without hurting so many feelings. That's why I'm not even going to click one of these things. You click a little word out of this guy's mouth, and you're going to have people going ape crazy. So, then comes along later Alex Jonesy, right? So, I want to show you something too. This goes into the searching. I just typed Alex Jones' name, and the first 2/3 of the first page is all him ranting. Pictures of it. Ranting. One looks like he's suicidally crazy, like he's crying and them all having a breakdown. The rest are tinfoiled hats. Another one's him peddling his vitamins. Do you see how this is steered? Now, everybody goes, well, this is a private company. Google and YouTube couldn't do whatever they want. You just got to start your own and go compete against them. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. How'd that work out for MySpace? They're a lot bigger than I could be. They had a huge growing platform. Just disappear almost overnight. My point is with this guy, he's the modern day Archibald. Kind of even looks like him right here. Now picture Archie Bunker, right? Hang on. I don't know if I could do both screens. I don't think I could split screen it. Sorry about that. So, if we go from Archie Bunker in my age group, that was who influenced my age group. Then, oh, here it is. Here's the names. Carol O'Connor was Archie Bunker. Edith was, is that a real name? What the hell's her name? Why don't they have their name? They got his real name. Isn't this strange? Archibald Bunker is a fictional character from the 1970s American television sitcom All in the Family and its spin-off Archie Bunker's Plays, played by Carol O'Connor. Bunker, a main character of the series, yeah, he was. It was named after him as well. Is a World War II veteran, blue-collar worker, and family man who they turned into a bigot, racist, ignorant, drinking alcohol, womanized, not womanized, but he'd treat women bad, treated his wife like she was a dog, same thing with his daughter. So they villainized this guy, but in a funny way. It was funny. I hate to say it. So, and then they brought in the neighbor was the George Jefferson and this and that. Okay, so back then we only had 3 channels. You had this and then the nightly news at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whatever time it came on. And then the TV would literally just go off the air around midnight to 3 in the morning. So, later comes this guy. And he looks a hell of a lot like this guy. Da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? Does anybody see this game is played over and over and over? These are just the recent ones. We could probably go back 20 years before that, and there was a guy taking the 60s kids into whatever direction. And notice the colors on the wall and all that. They had all this down pat in the 70s. They knew what they were going with this. Okay? So, who's going to take his place? Because the government agency he works for, he has to retire. He's too old. So either they gave him $50 million a year, or whatever the hell those numbers are showing up that his company did in revenues. Who runs the company? Is it him or is it his masters? So, or his handlers? I mean, I get the names mixed up. If his handlers really own InfoWars, then all that money goes back into their dark projects, which I wouldn't doubt it. And then he gets paid a lot of money because he did help with his personality get it to where it is. I'm sure they compensate him somehow, some way. It's also why when you first run into this guy, as you're going through your process of waking up, you're like, wow, here's a guy saying shit that he really should be like not able to say without like them canceling the show, you know what I mean? So then your own internal alarm bells go off. You're like, that's called cognitive dissonance. You're like, hey, something's wrong. Why is he allowed to stay up and do all these real crazy rages and freaking out and interrupting people's shows? And here's what he's really famous for. Wait. This is what got him launched. Let's see if we can find it. This, I apologize. I'm just reading some of their headline, what he's calling news here. And it doesn't make for good radio. They got here 3 more women accused Biden of inappropriate touching. I want to know about the kids. See, even to this day, Alex won't tell the truth. This, since he's so outrageous, should be named 3 more videos found of him touching blah 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 blah. Nope. Why? Again, why? Is he got dual citizenship? I wouldn't doubt it. That's not strange, right? Now, it's just a photo. Who knows what happened? It could be his kid. It could be whatever. I don't know. Just looks strange, that's all. Another woman didn't describe when he introduced Lady Gaga in 2016 Oscars. She was part of a group of victims who appeared with the singer when she met Biden after the ceremony. He once again did the forehead touching. Now, this is a women group. Oh, this is horrible. If this is true, this was an event or a segment of the show honoring victims of sexual abuse. Check this out. If this is true, this ain't even why I came to his site. I don't come here for news. But if this news is true, I'm looking for his famous thing that made him famous, but which I'm going to show to you is impossible. I do not consider, this is a quote, I do not consider my experience to have been sexual assault or harassment, end quote. She stated, adding that she believes Biden's intentions were good. quote, but it was kind of inappropriate behavior that makes many women feel uncomfortable and unequal in the workplace. There's some key words there that maybe it's a little weaponized, but here. Another woman described meeting Biden. This is the part that bothers me. Another woman described meeting Biden, and he says he's going forward. He's going to run for president. So get ready for this stuff. Meeting Biden when he introduced Lady Gaga. We know her history, and we know all about who she worships. So that's interesting. But let's not go there. Let's just talk about the reason for this. At the Oscars in 2016, she was part of, because the victims here, these victims of, again, being victimized again, they don't realize why they're really being brought out there. They don't realize who Lady Gaga really is. So I feel bad for the victims, again, being used for somebody else's gain. But here we go. She was part of a group of sexual assault victims who appeared with the singer. When she met Biden after the ceremony, he once again did the forehead touching thing. One of his signature moves in front of bevy of cameras. This is the move. I have to tell you something. I can't remember once in my life doing this to any girl, any woman, any child. What would make you do this? There's a thing called your personal space, and unless you're intimately involved with somebody, either emotionally or physically or both, more than likely, you're not allowed that close to somebody. You're not allowed. I don't know how old this girl is. You're not allowed to do that. He's 70 years old. He may have figured that out by now. He's worth probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars because he's been in government for so long. You know, they all become multi-hundred millionaires on a very low-paying job. That's the American dream, right? So this guy goes back to the Biden amendment, which I mentioned the other day. He's the one that they made the arrest of Oliver North based on his fake law he introduced into Congress, got it passed real quick, bing, bing, bing. Later it's overturned. Thus, their whole case fell apart. So this guy is a little squeaky weaky, even back in the old squeaky 80s. You know what I mean? So this video is not new. So why are they going after this guy? This is all old news. This is Oscars in 2016. They're going back, and that's what I'm saying. The last election for the president was when a lot of this crap came up. So why are they bringing it up again? These are the things that I say, whoa, what's going on? Why are they bringing Creepy Joe around? This is that creepy uncle that you don't let around the freaking kids' table at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? You leave him on the back porch, right? Throw him a little freaking steak or whatever you're eating and say, now get out of here. Uncle Joe. Karcik said as she met Biden after the ceremony, she was thinking about a college student who had been sexually assaulted and recently died by suicide. And then his big sweaty forehead's on hers. Really? She decided to share the story with then Vice President, future presidential candidate, possibly president even, Joe Biden, responded by clasping her hands, leaning down to place his forehead against hers, a moment captured in a widely circulated photograph. She said she appreciated Biden's support. She's afraid to say anything. Look at this. She appreciated his support, but also felt awkward and uncomfortable that his gesture had left their faces suddenly inches apart. That's what I just said. Nobody is allowed in that space of yours. Nobody. Any young people out there, no adult ever should do that unless you fell down, your mom's picking you up. Your mom, different story. But a man, Uncle Joe, anybody like that, family friend, any guy down the street, they don't put their head to your head or any part of your body. Ever. Ever. You call the police. Ever. That's what the news should be saying. That's what Alex needs to say. There's young people watching this. There's young people that are going to see my show. Tell them what to do. Don't just report this to get your clicks. This is important. And he's doing it at an event with victims of this kind of behavior. That's how these people think it's funny. They mock and mock and mock good. And if you keep mocking good, I guess people end up liking it. Not the assault part, the mocking part. If you keep mocking God and you keep mocking Jesus, where it's becoming now socially acceptable and it's no big deal, however, you're not allowed to do it to anybody else. All right. Alex Jones got famous. Where's his crappy cells? Hang on. He used to have it all over the place. Store. There we go. He's got to have his videos in here. There's your all the one thing I will give credit to is, because it's Dr. Group makes it, is Survival Shield in the silver. Either one of these you don't have to buy from him. You can get it from anywhere. As long as you got colloidal silver and you're using nascent iodine, which you can get from Dr. Group, or I'm sure you'll find anywhere else. The nascent iodine is a halogen your body does need, but I'm not here to sell his boner pills. I'm looking for his video on, where's the videos? Videos. The movies he made. Media maybe? Books, there we go. You're not going to believe, if anybody doesn't know his story, hang on. I don't want to say the name because it'll blow the whole surprise. Hang on. Matrix. These are how this guy launched. Go way back. This is like 10, 20 years ago. He made a lot of these movies, right? Where is it? Where is it? How many movies has he made? Alright, well, they probably took it off the main, what do you call it, the main list here, because you'll start to go, oh, right. He broke in. Here it is. Dark Secrets. Here we go. This guy says, and he shows on video, allegedly. Look how the point is going down, too, by the way. They made sure that they had that point in the right way. He snuck through security and got inside Bohemian Grove, where world leaders, top movie stars, all your top businessmen. Imagine the security details those people have alone. Then you got presidents, ex-presidents, etc., etc. So there is so much security in this place, right? That he sneaks through the woods and gets a video of them doing a fake, it was supposedly fake. They were doing a burning, I think. I saw clips of this like years and years ago. And see this owl, I think they light it on fire later. And they're supposed to burn a person, the sacrifice. Because that's what they're doing here. And if that's uncomfortable to you, this shit's going on. This is happening. This part's real. That happens all the time. So a lot of it now is going digital. That's what the allegations with the D-Wave and CERN are. They're saying they can take now. You don't need all these souls and these people to generate the energy to communicate with this evil. They can do it now through D-Wave. I don't know. I'm just telling you what they're saying. So this clown, the big mouth he's got on top of it, sneaking through the woods at 200, 300, 400 pounds, not making any noise in the the brush or anything. All these government officials, all these world leaders that show up to these events. This is a giant satanic worshiping event done, I think, every year. Anyways, we all know a lot of that's coming out now, or at least coming to the surface where people are like, still don't care. Okay. At least you know, right? You know. And when the kids go missing and things like that, there's a little peek hole to look. These guys are a little crazy, but whatever. This guy gets through the woods, gets all the way up close, takes video, and it launches his career. And now, last year, his company sold $50 million of pills and oils and bags and videos. The guy is a marketing genius. Or the government is. Who really is? When you see these psyop, when they go and they take over a country and they overthrow the leader and they bring in another guy, that same story, there has to be a bad leader. Then there's this. Then the communists on one side. Then they do the same story everywhere. Down in Central America in the 80s. Now it was the deserts through the 90s. Now they're pointing their head to South America. It's nonstop BS. It's the same boss with a different body that shows up for work today. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say this. It's just a joke. It's all smoke, mirrors, plates spinning, the excitement, the space. We're going to Mars. We're going to Venus. We're going to Jupiter. But remember, there's no God, they tell you. If you do believe in God, whoa, wait. They slide that shit in. You see that? And their symbols are everywhere, so do the symbols work? That's why I don't even like looking at them to review it, to even talk about. Like when Richie will show like those schematics of the electronic boards, the motherboards or whatever. When you see electronics, they got all those weird symbols. I won't look at him. I'll see what he's doing, but I turn my head. I don't even want that shit getting in my head at all. We have to protect our soul, just like you're trying to protect your what you're eating. You know what I mean? We're finding out there's fluoride in the water. Probably not a good idea. Probably. I can't swear to it because I don't know 100%. But as a human that can think, and I know the damaging side effects of fluoride. I know it's a toxin. I know that you call poison control. If you do a pea size or larger amount on your toothbrush and the person swallows that, you got to call poison control. But that same amount is in an 8-ounce glass of water. And a child can drink it. And, where did I just hear yesterday? A mother was in trouble for not giving her kid enough city tap water. The pediatrician ordered her to make the formula for the baby with tap water, no longer use filtered water. I heard that on a call-in show last night. At night, sometimes I hear music or shows in the background just to help me focus sometimes. But it sounds weird, but it does. Anyways, so sometimes I can't remember which show it was until later. My point is, it definitely heard it. It definitely was on a talk show. And it was part of a whole overall theme. They were talking about how DCFS, or whatever your child services are called in your state, how much power they have with very little oversight. And isn't that the case with everything? you give an agency a ton of power, and then there's nobody watching them except themselves. So that is what it is. So my point is, this guy didn't break into no grove. He was launched by, it's a psyop, whatever you want to call it. He admits his family's related to these guys, the alphabets. He talks to them all the time. He talks about how when he was 12 they approached him. I don't believe that. I think he's a pathological, probably more than likely pathologically defected in the lying department. So it's really even hard. He may not be in it. All I know is from the start, it's not like he flipped like Joe Rogan did. When Joe Rogan was totally like, oh, I know these are fake. You could see it's fake. You could see there's no curve. And all of a sudden, one day, he suddenly does a 180 on everything and then gets launched to the top. Best world podcaster in history and all this other crap. Who knows how much he's making? If you think Alex Jones is making a lot, the link with Joe Rogan and Twitter alone, they're probably partners. So he's doing a lot. Believe me, a lot. So the sad thing is that there's no men left. Very few that the young men are looking for. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for men to say, hey, this is how I was taught. This is what I've learned in my life. That's why I am older and I've got wisdom and I made it to this point. Because if I wasn't any kind of wisdom in there somewhere, I probably wouldn't have lived as long as I have. You know what I'm saying? So a young male sees that. All right, I got a man now. I can kind of model where I'm going in my own head. But all you men are just sitting there with your mouths zipped shut. And like, well, I can't talk. They tell me not to talk, or they tell me this. They tell me to filter my thought. But you know what? That may work for you, but there's a lot of young men out there that are now not hearing anything but this side of the story. This side of when you do a search, there's not one positive article, if there is any. There's not one good news story he broke. The guy's broke a lot of news, so he has to do a lot of it. It's got to be true, otherwise people wouldn't have followed him. So if 7 out of 10 stories are legit, 3 out of 10 are to steer you to direct. That's how they control the ship. I don't know how much simpler it can get than that. So you do get information, but you have to know when your bullshit alarm goes off, it is your bullshit alarm, and you should listen to it. So, same with these other hosts. When they do their 180 flip, and your gut is telling you they're probably lying, as long as you know that, you can still watch. I mean, Joe Rogan still has some people on that I'm interested in hearing from, like that Dr. Rhonda. Dr. Rhonda is an incredible biologist. She studies turmeric and curcumin, how it affects cancer in actual biological study and scientific shit. So just because he's a jerk off doesn't mean I can't get good information still from his channel. Most of the time, lately especially, it's guided. It's also being used for direction, but pull out what you can and let the rest go. And just let it slide off. All right. So, that's how he got his start. That's how he took over for this generation. So then who's the next Alex Jones? And I hope it's not who I'm thinking it is. I hope it's not. And I'm not going to say yet, because I'm not sure. And I'm not even sure of anything. But who is going to be probably 15 years younger, most 20. This guy's in his mid-50s. He's not 42. If that guy's 42, I'm only 5. So, there's a guy pushing 60. It's going to be a guy pushing 40. It's going to take his place. Or will they get real risky? And could it possibly be, what's his name? The kid that just quit. I don't care if it is him or not, but he does have like 1 million followers. He's already got a big following. The kid's on a show up for years, the tall guy. I don't remember his name now. Anyways, is that the guy who's going to start his own network and continue on? He's got money set for life. I think he's just having trouble letting go of the game. And that may be what does mentally in his own head screw him up. He is so used to playing that victim card that when he's not the victim, he's going to go like stir crazy. If he doesn't have people to hate. Now, here's the bad thing. This is why I brought all this up. They have now turned this scumbag into the leader of alternate news of all time. So anybody who is not mainstream is that. Period. And that's the narrative they're pumping out there. So I don't care if you're neutral on your channel. I don't care if you're trying to stay in the center. If you're not on board with the far left, which eventually is going to eat itself. So this isn't going to work no matter what. They're already attacking each other. We're seeing that already. With Bezos and the other, he doesn't like the fact that that Saudi guy stole his ID and this and that. Those things are coming back to bite each other in the ass. Those rich people are going to have their day too. So, I don't know. I don't know who's going to take his place. And why do we have to have a guy like this? But I guess it's just, if you look at history, that's just the way it is. We always got to have leaders. We always got to have a king. You know, not all people, but like 60% or so. It's a high percentage. And it's always a small percentage that runs everything. I don't know what the hell that means. But I do know this is really stupid. A rope to make an officer stand in the front of that doorway. Back to the story. This officer says in the story, it talks about it in here, that they were on a call for a guy to check for well-being or whatever they call it. And somehow the door was cracked open a little bit. The cop is able to see through that 1-inch opening because there's a little chain that the guy possibly had a gun. That's all they know. Then the guy slams the door shut. Done. Well, they want to buy some time, read a book, whatever. So these geniuses in the white shirts come up with this plan. We can buy 5.5 feet of rope. I don't know where they come up with the half, why that matters. So there's probably something with the number. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you calculate these numbers, it's going to tie back somehow in the Freemason crap, whatever. So, and it's not crap. It's just I don't understand it. So it drives me nuts because I see the codes. You know, you see them. The numbers pop up a lot. But I don't want to study that shit. It's too much. Too much dark shit in there. So anyways, they go, let's get some rope from the local hardware store. And we'll have our officers stand in front of that door, entertain a crazy person with a gun who is wanting to die. That's why you're there. And probably is too scared to use the gun on himself. So it's called suicide by cop. So then they call the police on themselves even. And then it all goes to shit. So, to fix all that, the white shirts here came up with an idea that a 5.5 or 5.5 foot rope will do just the job. Let's see what brain captain this was. New York City Police Department Chief Robert Lukoc, Background Center. I guess this is Lukoc right here. And Captain Ronald Zadalis left, one of these two, negotiate with Sergeant's the strike. This is the low fruit here. In this chain of command, anyways. Sometimes they're the top fruit. So I'm just saying in this situation. Negotiate with the Sergeant Kenneth O'Brien, portraying a barricaded person during a tactical. They got to train how to use this rope, folks. This is no bullshit either. I thought this was a joke. I thought this was an April Fool's joke, I swear. O'Brien portraying a barricaded person during a tactical demonstration at a New York City Emergency Services Unit. That's the ESU for the people that watch those TV shows. ESU, the crime unit. Headquartered at Floyd Bennett Field, whatever, in New York. This happened on Thursday, the 28th, when all that shit with the sun was going on. The department started training all 35,000 officers in a technique of using a length of rope to secure the door of a home where a distressed person is threatening harm. That's what I was trying to explain to you. When these cops show up for this call, this ain't just like, oh, let's play tiddlywinks. This is serious shit. Because you're dealing with somebody who already wants to die. You're dealing with somebody who's too scared to die. And you're dealing with somebody who wants you to kill them. So the odds are already stacked against an officer going to this call. So now we're going to get out the tiddlywinks, the ropes, and the little ball you bounce. And you catch jacks. I think it's called jacks. Drop. They're going to have that next. You're going to slide the jacks little packet under the door. And then you're going to ask the guy who wants to die, pick up the ball and the little metal pieces, and sit down on the floor, and we're going to play a game together. Why not? It's the same stupid shit as a rope. Get him a tiddlywinks kit. Throw it under the door. See if it works. Throw it under. Why don't you fly a drone over the top of the wall there and zap them? Alright. I know the wall's there because they're training. I know it's not, whatever. Alright. The department started training all 35,000 officers in the rope technique to secure the door of a home where a distressed, they can't even say mental person anymore because that's offensive. A distressed, what does that mean? See, this is the shit I'm talking about. What does that word mean? Do you understand why this is important?
Distressed, 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 distressed.
Okay. The word distressed, per the NYPD training manual, I'm assuming has this listed as suffering from anxiety, sorrow, or pain. Quote, this is out of the dictionary online. Quote, I was distressed at the news of his death, thus causing me anxiety, sorrow, pain, and wanting to die. Then they call the police, and then the police show up with rope. Imagine if you wanted to die, and a cop thinks he's funny and has this thing all wrapped up in a, what's that guy in Chicago? What did he say was around his neck? Jesse? Yeah, Jesse, thanks. You just screwed up all the rope tricks for the cops. That's why Chicago police went after him. Not because it cost $100,000 in police work, because he screwed up the rope. This is so sad. Here. Out of Merriam-Webster, distress definition is seizure and detention of the goods of another as pledged or to obtain satisfaction of a claim by the sale of goods seized. Do you see how words mean shit? There's two definitions, folks, of the word distress. Which one are they using in this New York PD SWAT team toolbox with rope? Distress means to seize and take, confiscate. Or it means you're very upset and want to die. Either way, you're fucked. And worse than that, because they don't really care about your personal problems, is you're putting officers at risk. Literally at risk. In the hot zone. You don't mess with doors. You do not mess with doors and crazy people. And as a cop, you don't like doorways ever. Even on a normal call, you want to get out of that freaking doorway. Because in the old days, they trained you not to be in the doorway to begin with, so that training stays with you, and that helps keep you alive longer. You see what I'm saying? Not to be messing with ropes. The rope makes it virtually impossible for the person inside to burst through the door and cause harm. The rope magically stops all bullets from going through the door too, and will stop anything from going through the wall, even 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch even drywall. You're safe as long as you got the rope. Nothing's coming through that door. And here's something, it sounds funny right now, but it's not, because here's what happened with the stupid stun gun shit. They gave cops stun guns not because it's easier to subdue people or to even keep a cop out of a fight. They did it because the guys wearing the bow ties, the accountants and insurance companies that have to pay for all these fuck ups, said no more hands on. We don't want cops getting hands on with people because they get hurt. Not the citizen, the cops. So when the cops get hurt, it costs a fortune. So we'll buy these $50 stun guns and you just zap the shit out of anybody you want. As long as you don't put hands on them and you don't get hurt, we don't give a shit. And that's where we've seen the stun gun go from a tool that could have been used once in a while. You get a guy that's on some kind of drug that's feeling no pain. If you've never been in a fight with somebody that's on coke and alcohol, and God knows what else he had in that cocktail, but I know those two were in there for sure. A can of pepper spray didn't do shit. 3 cops didn't do shit. So there are times you need tools. And there's times where that rope, that's not one of them. That rope's going to get cops hurt, is what I'm trying to say. You're going to be dicking around with the door, and the guy who wants to die may want to speed it up. So while your head's down there trying to tie a freaking slip knot around the door, all this crap, right? This guy, the bad guy, would be on this side with a gun right up about that 1/4 inch from your face. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I don't know who came up with this. This is literally not a good idea. You may want to scrap the rope. See, here's the problem when you get psychopaths high up in management in a corporation. The corporation is psychopathic by nature. It has to be. It doesn't care about its employee. It does not care about feelings and emotions. It actually becomes technically a person. A corporation has got the same rights. He's got to pay taxes, all kinds of shit. So that's what corporations do. All your cities are incorporated. Get it yet? Do you see the game? What this rope shit is, I'm still trying to figure out. There's no way it's a tactical safety issue. There's no way. There is no freaking way. You're messing with a doorknob and standing in front of a door when there's an armed person behind it that wants to kill themselves. No way. And that is my point. So now you go up the chain till you get to the high levels of the brass, they call it. And now one of these jamokes came up with this idea, right? And all the rest laughed about it because like there ain't no way the chief is gonna go with this rope thing. God, this guy's nuts. Guess what? They're implementing it. And I guarantee you there's like 20 cops at the top of that food chain that are going, holy shit. We thought this was a joke, and now here we are training 35,000 cops how to use a 5-foot, 5-inch rope for, what do they call them? Distressed people. And the definition of distressed, one is suffering from anxiety, sorrow, or pain, or the other is seizure and detention of goods of another as pledged to obtain satisfaction of a claim. Like when you get a ticket and you get a $100 fine, there's a claim now that you have to pay the fine, and if you don't, then you get a warrant, and then you go to jail. And there's that whole cycle starts with that end of this police thing that can go that down that path later. But this is not a joke. This is real news, and it shouldn't be. The department this year started training all 35,000 officers in a technique of using a length of rope. You know there's going to be the guy that's going to use this to do that chokehold, like that poor guy that was selling the cigarettes allegedly in front of that bodega or whatever. And he's going to grab that rope and wrap it around some victim's neck. And it's going to be on tape. It's coming. It's coming. Some cop that has no clue how to use this rope. And he's going to get in big trouble because as long as they use it the way they were trained, they're immune. If you use it outside of what it's prescribed for, then you're taking your own risk of liability. The rope makes it virtually impossible for the person inside to burst through the door and cause harm. The idea, commanders said, probably the guy who invented this, is to avoid having gun-toting officers. This is their command staff making fun of his own officers. The idea, commanders said, is to avoid having gun-toting NYPD cops, perhaps only lightly trained in dealing with such situations. Really? Really? When this is what 90% of your job is dealing with mentally messed up people? 70%? Let's just say 50%. It's more than that. But if 50% of the people that cops deal with on a daily basis are, what do you call it? Distressed? Well, if they're distressed, what do you got to do? How about this? Let's seizure and detention the goods of another person in exchange for their pledge to show up in court or the hospital or wherever they're going to tell you to go when they're done with you. This cop, or not even a cop, he's a commander, so he don't remember shit where he came from, I guarantee you. The idea commanders said is to avoid having gun-toting officers. Is this a gun grab for cops? Do you hear what this guy is saying about his own officers? He's calling his own cops gun-toting jamokes. So in order to help prevent his own gun-toting idiots from hurting anybody that's mentally ill, we're going to take their guns and we're going to put a rope right inside their holster. And if you're an artist or a what do you call it, satire drawer, there's your cartoon. The gun is now holding a rope. That's worse than what England was in the 90s when we used to have them come out on ride-alongs. They couldn't believe we all carried guns. They really couldn't. That wasn't that long ago. Now it is, but in my brain it's only like yesterday. But they couldn't believe that we all carry guns here. That's how much England has changed. So, also know that when people like Mao and Stalin and Hitler and all those other scumbags, when they take over, number one priority is turn in the guns, or you will have jail time or excessive fines or whatever initially. And then it gets worse as time goes on. So then initially there's a big upheaval of the guns come in, they turn them in, blah, 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 and all of a sudden you're being starved to death. So, I think with 5G coming, they're not worried about that no more. So all you people that are like, they're taking a gun, no, they're not. They're making new rules still on it. You know, they haven't forgot about it. They're going to still tighten the penalties and enough to get you where, you know, you, the troublemakers that own a couple guns or whatever, the laws will be stricter. But that's the laws they're making now. But they're not afraid of it because soon they're going to have a little dial. It's like a volume control knob. And there's going to be an antenna in front of every house in America. And they're going to have a thing called shelter in place. You'll start hearing it more and more. A disaster happens, shelter in place. Do not evacuate. Do not run from the danger. Do not panic. Just stay in place, right? Like that chemical burn, right? Here. Anybody remember this? It's a long time ago, a couple weeks ago. Oh, this is a new one. I don't want the new one. There's been another one, by the way. Second Houston chemical plant. Here. This is the second one. I can't even find pictures of the first one. It was like 2 weeks ago. Second Houston chemical plant fire spews thousands of pounds of toxic pollutants in the air. Guess what? Shelter in place. This news girl filed this under not again. There's thousands of pounds of a chemical. Just stay home, put some tape on the windows. Throw some Kleenex up your nose. Whatever. Don't worry about it. Shelter in place. Get used to that term, because that's what's coming. Another day and another chemical plant fire. And isn't it funny? Like every day there's one in Texas, then China, then Texas, then China. Now Texas, really? Are we playing games here by chance? Is there something going on behind the scenes that we're not hearing about? Another day, another chemical plant fire. That's a depressing reality in Houston area. That's horrific reality. Do you know how dangerous toluene is? That was in the last fire. When you do your nails, all the women out there that use that paint remover on your fingertips, which is toxic as all hell, by the way. And guys don't care about your fingernails. I hate to tell you. You can paint them whatever color you want. You're just hurting yourself. Stop. That chemical that's in your nail polish remover, that was one of them in the fire that everybody was breathing in, that was told to shelter in place. Do not leave the town. Do not pass go. Just sit your ass in your basement and shut up. These shelter in place things are making me nervous more and more because not one person questioned it. Just like I wouldn't expect anybody anymore to question anything. So when you see this, your reaction is, let's get the heck out of here. No. My cell phone says shelter in place. Okay. But that looks really dangerous. No. Should we breathe that? Just put tape over the window. Huh. How many days should we sit and breathe this? Until they tell us not to. Well, they're never going to tell you not to. The people waiting for the fire on November 8th, they're still waiting. Others left, but there were people left behind because they refused to leave. I remember this girl's testimony, or not the video she made where her mother was arguing with her in the living room. And she's looking out the window. She said it looked like this. There's smoke and fire everywhere. She's like, Mom, we got to get out of here. The mother, about my age, says, no, we haven't been told to leave yet. It says shelter in place. She's like, Mom, we got to get out of here. The tires are melting. If I don't leave right now, I got to go. The mother didn't leave. God, my nose is itching. Allergies are horrible today. So she didn't leave. Goes home. Nothing's left. And then like 2 weeks later, the police identified the body of the mother. Because she did what she was told. She sheltered in place. So my question is, this automatic response to shelter in place is like the chicken little thing with the sky is falling, right? It's the other way around. The sky's falling, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let me tell you something. Don't worry about it. You come with me over here. Yeah. Barely 2 weeks after the chemical plant fire belched a cloud of toxic smoke over the city of Deer Park, Texas, another plant burst into flames Tuesday in Crosby, Texas. Just another half-hour drive north. So, back-to-back severe toxic carcinogenic cancer-causing debilitating if you get a lung disease, which a lot of these people are going to now that breathe any of this chemical. And who's liable? Nobody. This time a worker was killed and another two were severely injured. The Harris County Sheriff's Department. Authorities are wasting no time to act. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton moved to sue KMCO LLC, the owner of the plant, Tuesday night on behalf of the Texas Commission on Environment. See, they want to get in there first because then any money that comes out of this, they get their cut first. The victims who are going to have cancer, there will be no money left for them. Sorry, you didn't file fast enough. Well, I didn't file because I didn't know I was sick. Well, again, not our problem. So you get in line on a lawsuit. They work first come, first serve. So the county or whoever this is, they sue right away because they know the game. Get in line, boom. We don't know what damage yet. No, don't worry about it. We're in line. We filed the suit. Now we wait. If any of you got sick, any of you felt sick breathing this crap, you may want to talk to a lawyer really bad and really fast because there's only so much money in their insurance policy to go around, if they even have insurance. And by the time you figure out that this made you sick, you're not going to remember who you should sue. And it's not that you should sue them just to be a jerk. You should sue them because you have damages that you never would have had if they weren't careless and let that shit burn. There's a thing normally called liability, right? And this gets me back to the argument, which everybody's going to hate. If this chemical plant turns out they don't have any liability because, let's just say, the governor or the president signed a form saying, here's a new law, XYZ chemical company will never be held liable. Never, ever. You can't sue them. You can't arrest them. You can't get them on criminal or liable charges. Period. This is a true story. So it's not like I'm making this up. This has happened twice that I know of, and probably more that I don't know about. So if all the victims of this fire in 2 years get leukemia, lung cancer, whatever it is, some rare form I'm sure it's going to be, and they go to sue, and then you're told in court, sorry, they're exempt. Now, if you knew that before you lived there or moved near this plant, would you have moved there? Would you move a few blocks from a plant that you find out has zero liability if anything goes a little haywire? I wouldn't. I'd be like, who knows what they're doing in there? You know, they don't care, right? Why would you care? Well, there's a thing that we inject in our kids with that liability exemption from 1986. Ronald Reagan, the old big hero and truth teller and all that bullshit, right? Yeah, well, he made it exempt from liability. Any manufacturer of any shot that is used for vaccine is exempt from all liability and criminal charges. So it's not only blocked from being arrested, which they never would be anyways. You'd have to do something horrific like intentionally hurt millions of kids, right? But even then, if they did, they're exempt. They can't be touched. So would you move to this chemical plant neighborhood or downwind of it if you found out if they do leak gas out of their pipes? So be it. Or if they engulf all of Houston for days in a chemical soup of nastiness, exempt. So if your brain goes, wait, I probably shouldn't move near that thing, why would you go move there if they didn't have liability? See what I'm saying? Now this company hopefully has liability and will hopefully compensate the people that are going to be injured from this, and there's going to be a lot. So on the other coin, if you're a child getting in like chemtrails, but in your body, which you now can't talk about or soon can't talk about, and when you search for it, you're not going to get any rebuttal, not any discussion. They say you can't talk about it. Case closed. It's been proven safe. It's been proven this, that. No. Turn over the sheet. Let's see if we can even find one. Now, this will show you what I'm talking about on the Google search. This is a touchy subject. Vaccines, right? Every one of these has got a check mark. Now, let's see if that's true on everything you search for. The distressed, those are all also check mark. Hang on. Let's look up blue cat. Well, we're even getting check marks on those. Unbelievable. So these have all been filtered and checked out to benefit blue cats, whatever a blue cat is. Probably should use a different topic. But there's still topics that are not green checked or blue checked, depending on your screen and which shit you're using tied in with Google. My point is, if these blue cats they didn't want people to know about, let's say they bite people or something. I don't know anything about cats like that. But let's say they did. And I want to say, look, I ran into a batch of these blue cats as a breeder. He inbred them, blah, blah, blah. They're horrible, whatever. There's DNA defect. If you were to post that and it's against the normal agenda, it won't show up. So then there's going to be people that never got the warning or never got a chance to even read, hey, let me see all the reviews. I don't want to just see all the positive reviews. I want to see some of the negative reviews. See what I'm saying? Now what they're doing is, no, you can only see the reviews that are for our agenda, not anything that questions it or is against. Is that not scary? No? All right. It's just a little scary to me. So, here's what I want to show you. Let's just see. I don't want the stress on my vaccine. First one. Let's find something I've heard of. Gardasil. Human papilloma. Gardasil 9, I think it's the newer one, right? No. Gardasil 9. There's the regular Gardasil. Let's see the back here. I just picking one. I just saying, let's just see what one of these says here. Because soon you can't do this. This ain't going to even be allowed. This is a 28-page thing, so let's just see warnings. May develop resulting from falling, what injury, 15 minutes, seizure-like activity, syncope, sometimes associated with tonic-clonic movements, and other seizure-like activity has been reported following vaccination with Gardasil. When syncope is associated with tonic-clonic movements, the activity is usually transient and typically responds to restoring cerebral perfusion by maintaining a supine or Trendelenburg position, whatever that means. Adverse reaction, most common adverse reaction is a headache, Okay, not too bad. Gardasil may be administered cocaine, whatever, but another shot, But there's a section that's going to tell you they've never studied this on people. Let's see. That's where I get nervous. It's not on all the warning. Oh yeah, kid, once in a while somebody may get sick. I understand that. You know, I'm not even knocking that. What I'm knocking is the fact that you're not liable. Dose and strength, contradiction, warnings, the syncope thing, allergies, adverse reaction, clinical trials. Now, this one might have had some. Let's see. Because clinical trials are conducted under widely varying conditions, there we go. Adverse reaction rates observed in the clinical trials of a vaccine cannot be directly compared to rates in the clinical trials of another vaccine. Thus, there's no double-blind placebo or whatever it's called. That's what they're telling you there. Studies in girls and women aged 9 to 45, and now they give it to boys and men aged 9 to 26. Might as well throw boys in there too. And 7 clinical trials. 5 AAH. It's got aluminum in it. Amorphous aluminum hydroxyphosphate sulfate, or AAHS, controlled. One was saline, placebo controlled, and one was uncontrolled. 18,000 people. So this is a test. This, I wonder if they were making this back before the exemption. Like, did it start in the day when they used to have to do tests? Hang on. Or maybe some do tests. I don't know. Let's look. I just picked one at random. In 7 clinical trials, the aluminum sulfate Saline pursuit. The individuals who were monitored, individuals 1945, Alright, so then they go into all the different races and types of people. Here's the percentage with pain, swelling, whatever. But I want to show you where they're not liable. Hang on. Besides the law, it says they're not liable, but what is this? Table 9. Summary of girls and women reported an incident condition potentially indicative of a systemic autoimmune disorder after enrollment in clinical trials. That's interesting. They threw this in there. Whoa. Across clinical studies, 40 deaths of 18,000 people, that's more than measles killed, were reported in 29,000 patients. I'm serious. I think the measles kill rate's less than that, but hang on. That's not even why I'm reading this. I'm reading this because I want to see the liability. Individuals 1945, 1926, boys and men. The events reported were consistent with events expected in healthy adolescents. So they're saying they might have died anyways. Blah, blah, blah. Following a drug overdose suicide. 2 individuals received gunshot wounds. A lot of suicides with this. Wow. Just coincidentally. And 3 individuals received AAHS control and pulmonary embolus, deep vein thrombosis. I think it's a blood clot to the lung. There were 2 cases of sepsis, 1 case of pancreatic cancer. That quick? 1 case of arrhythmia, 1 case of pulmonary tuberculosis. What the hell's that? Hyperthyroidism. 1 case of post-operative pulmonary embolism. Now that might have happened anyways. You know what I'm saying? So they got to include everything. That's where it even gets hard on even going through like clinical shit. 1 case of breast cancer. So what they're saying is, of all the people who got these shots that were in the study, some got leukemia, some got cancer. What they're saying is they don't know. They might have, they might not have, they don't know. They know they got it, but they don't know if that was the cause. But hang on, let's keep going. Table 10, I think it's table 13. Hang on. Table 7. Pregnancy. Reproduction studies have been performed. See, I think this drug, I picked the one that they actually did tests on because they were testing this on girls to see if it even worked, number one. So they probably had to go 1 notch higher in the testing. Reproduction studies have been performed in female rats. Here we go. At doses equivalent to the recommended human dose, and have revealed no evidence of impaired female fertility or harm to the fetus. Okay, so it then goes on to say, animal reproduction studies are not always predictive of human. Okay. It says it's not indicated for women 27 years old and older. And nursing, pediatric, geriatric, overdosage, clinical pharmacology, mechanism, non-clinical carcinogen. Here, 13, non-clinical toxicology. 13.1, carcinogenesis, mutagenesis, and impairment of fertility. Gardasil has not been evaluated. This is where they're let off the hook, right here. Gardasil has not been evaluated, and you can look at this same paragraph on every insert you find. 13 or 13.1, like this one says here. Gardasil has not been evaluated for potential to cause carcinogenicity or genotoxicity Gardasil administered to female rats at a dose of 120 mg total protein, which is equivalent to the recommended human dose, had no effects on mating performance, fertility, or embryonic fetal survival. So they did a little testing on the embryo. Usually that's part of this where they say they don't. The effect of Gardasil on male fertility has been studied in male rats at intramuscular dose of whatever, and one group of male rats was administered Gardasil once 3 days prior to cohabitation, and the second group administered 3 times at 6, 3 weeks, and 3 days. There were no treatment-related effects. So they play it down like it's no big deal. If they did no tests for if it causes cancer, gene mutation, or affects human fertility, the answer is simply no, right there. Has not been evaluated for potential to cause those issues. That's the only thing that should have made that Vax movie, or any new Vax movie, or anybody that wants to talk about it, if they are legit talking about the real issue. It's not about the chemicals in it and this and that, because we don't know what's in it. You can guess. Aluminum, blah, 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 all the other shit, right? Here's the point. 1986, Ronald Reagan exempts them from the law. And starts that fund. The government will then defend any case and prosecute any case. So they're again, the government is in the hen house. You know what I mean? And if you're not liable for the product you make, are you making me a safe product? With zero consequence if you don't. We've seen what evil people do when they're getting power. I mean, look at the medical stuff they did in World War II. Anyways, chapter 13. I'm going to post this. I'm going to put this up on the Discord page. Oh, it might be too big though. Hang on. Let me see how big this file is. Let's see if it works. What happened? Did it work? Alright, what's going on here? Where are you? That's strange. Where did the PDF file just go? Where is my PDF? Where'd it go? Pictures, memes. Where'd it go? It's called Vax Insert. How did I lose it? Okay. Okay, it's in this pics and memes. That's why. Where did you go? There it is. How do you spell Gardasil? There it is. No. Alright. I don't know if that'll work. Yeah, that's a small file. That should work. How do you spell Gardasil? Gardasil. There we go. Okay. 13.1 tells you the spot where it kind of goes ugly when they're not liable. And anybody who wants links to any of these inserts, I'll put that in there as well. If we head over to our Discord app, go to Files, PDF Reports, and all the inserts will be listed with that link right there. There we go. Well, there we go. I don't see anybody in the chat, so I may clip it here. Let's just take a look one last time. I wanted to show you videos. Hang on one second. Let me go fill this up. I'm gonna get juice now. There's too much coffee in there. The suburban chiefs in Cook County are giving a thumbs down to their state's attorney who let Smollett. Check this out. Got the, I like to get more of this juice. They had it on clearance. It's called Envy. It's a Kai berry. There's no extra sugar. It's just plain acai berry, so most people don't like it. That's why they had so many on clearance. And I like it because it's not too sweet. The only sugar I really take in is the I do a couple suckers a day. Just like a habit thing, I don't know. But I don't think it's hurting me that bad. My sugar and all that's good. There's a woman buying a nice Mercedes. A group of suburban police chiefs joined the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police. That's a big group. To give Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx a vote of no confidence Thursday, and the latest fallout over her office's abrupt dismissal. You can't really work with her anymore because you can't trust somebody that's just going to drop. You do all that work, and because Obama or whoever came in with the heavy arm said let him go, I'm guessing it was him or his wife, whatever. Somebody from high up said let this boy go. So that just ruined her career more than likely. When these police are taking these kind of, they don't go after each other. Police and state's attorneys, they know they got to work together. This is bad. FOP President Kevin Graham and some 30 suburban chiefs took it a step further at a news conference calling Fox on to resign from her elected office. People standing around me can give you countless examples of how Ms. Fox's lack of prosecution has cost our members and police officers an enormous amount of problems. Can you imagine the people laughing at? Oh my God! Wow, you have no idea the backlash she just ran through and gave all these poor street cops that now got to hear people mouth off about how this guy's innocent. Because that's what he keeps telling everybody. He didn't do anything. If he would have manned up and said what he did, I screwed up. And they gave me the biggest break of my life. That's called a God-fearing man would do that. If you're in bed with the devil, then you don't need to do that. And you see what he got away with. It'll help him temporarily. It's not going to help him eternally. And he'll have to deal with that when he does. So, in the meantime, the cops want the state's attorney to step down because you can't trust her. If she's that easy to sway, she's corrupted. And corrupted, obviously, in the wrong direction. You know, people standing around me can give you countless examples of how Ms. Fox's lack of prosecution has cost our members and police officers an enormous amount of problems, Graham said. Not to mention the fact that the people in Cook County are depending on prosecutors to put people in jail and charge them accordingly. So now, when somebody commits a small crime, they're going to be, oh my God, why are you arresting me? This guy could go and start a race war and nobody does nothing. You know what I'm saying? These are the kind of things that are going to keep coming and coming and coming. You're going to start seeing videos of how the cops, look at them do this, they're doing that, they're trying, this is going to be, and it could be by design. It really could. Because if you think about it, dude's an actor. He hits all the marks, and as far as making people feel bad for him and all that, and hitting all the what do you call it? All the marks. You hit them all. He's gay. He's black. He's an actor. He was with MAGA hats and nooses, and they hit everything. So it didn't go down the way they wanted it to. So they're not letting up on it. So now we'll let them off. That'll get the people jacked up, and it is. It's working. So now they're going to get jacked up, and they're going to want justice, or they're going to want this. And so half of them are going to go that route. The other half are going to go the route, hey, how come he doesn't have to abide by the law, but I do? And blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden, look, guess what you got? You got a brand new divide. It worked. It simply worked. There's your answer. It's to divide more people. Best case, they would have had their little race thing. And in the meantime, they still got half the people arguing that it's right, the other half saying it's wrong, and he got off. Now that's the another. So it started a whole other can of worms. So just to let you know, this is how they keep tricking you. Not that these guys are doing it on purpose. They're part of whatever. The point is, it's way above these guys' heads why that guy was let off. They probably don't even get it. Or maybe they do. I don't know. When you get up to this level, you're in the politics deep. So when you're up way up like these guys, they're answering to other masters. So these are not the same as your patrol officers. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Patrol guys are way down at the bottom. They're not into the politics yet. City says it's prepared to sue for what? He's already been let go, and if the state's attorney probably signed some special deal where he can't be sued, I bet you. That's the sneaky shit they do. And when you're not part of the sneaky shit crowd, you don't ever even hear about this stuff. Alright. What else do we got here? Oh, the shelter in place stuff. Kind of reminds me, like I was saying here, they're going to lock the door. If cops go around, I was locked. I think it was my cousin. He might be my uncle, technically. Yeah, it's my mom's little brother. Years and years ago. He was over. He was staying with us for a while. He was from Boston. And we're in Chicago, so it was like that whole rival shit. It was hilarious. But he was a badass. And he's from Woburn, which was like a weird way to say. He called Woburn. So he's a bad MF though, really tough guy, and he was only like 16 at the time. Unbelievable, he's a monster. So he came here when he wasn't afraid of nobody, but we were all horsing around, and my stepdad had locked us. We were like trying to hide in the bathroom from him. I don't know what we were doing, but we couldn't figure out why we couldn't open the door. It was because of this. He tied a rope to the door, and then he took a stick, and then that went sideways, so like a 2x4 maybe. So you wrap the rope in it and then wedges it, and there's no way you could open that door. So I know for a fact this will work if you had time to sit there and twist it up, put the board across it, do the whole deal. That's the part they're probably not showing you, but he's probably got the stick in his hand back here. That's what they're going to do. They're going to wrap it up with like a 2x4, and the 2x4 is going to go across the door tight, so when you go to open that door, it ain't opening. The whole point is for you to stand in front of that door and do all that shit is not too bright. Alright, what else do we got? Is there anything good? Let's see. Cohen offers more dirt. 14 million files. Breaking news. The rat. I believe that's what he was called, right? Didn't Trump call him the rat? Who called him that? Wasn't that Trump? I don't know how much damage this has really done for lawyer client privilege stuff, because there isn't no lawyer client privilege after this. They went and took everything, and then only because he was the president and so damn powerful that while they were looking for quote-unquote evidence, he had his own lawyers stand there and watch them allegedly go through it. But they were going through personal papers and personal notes with him and his other clients, let's say. That's supposed to be confidential. So now, here's the thing with the law. The law says if the agency or local police get evidence illegally, meaning, let's say they're investigating, but say they're not investigating anything. Let's just say this lawyer is wiretapping his own clients. Let's just say, so which he was taping them, which I guess Trump didn't know about. Look, there's an X chemtrail X over here in the corner. My point is, if that lawyer was tape recording all his clients, maybe so he could type it up later, and then let's say he was going to delete it, but he didn't. Let's just say he was a legit lawyer and he wasn't doing it nefariously. However, the police come in and they raid looking for other tapes or for something else or whatever. Anyways, if the shit they find has got private stuff on it that is talking about a crime that his client did and he's telling him what he did so he can work the law around it, they could technically use that evidence now against the guy, because anything they grab, if it was illegally gained but they legally gained it, it's not illegally to use. You know what I'm saying? So they could use it in court is what I'm trying to say. Courts are hard. This stuff, it gets really hard. But my point is, let's say a burglar breaks into a house and finds dead bodies in there. If he tells the police, hey, I was in their house and there's dead bodies in there, you know what I mean? And then they go in and find the dead bodies and find out it was committed by like the neighbor or whatever. The fact that the police went in there was because the guy did something illegal to begin with. You see what I'm saying? How it all gets crazy? So if the guy did something illegally to get in there and then he finds illegal activity and then he calls the police to let the... It's still, the police can use all that evidence. They didn't break the law. They didn't go breaking into your house randomly to find dead bodies in there. A burglar did. So that's how the law can be done. So when they went and got all of his files, who knows what they found in there? Because he was tape recording everybody. But let's see what this says. In a statement on Thursday, I just wanted to tell you that so you know how the law works. So if they got some illegal shit that was gained illegally, but the cops gained it legally, then it's legal. It's evidence. In the statement on Thursday evening, in response to letters sent by members of the House, and these House oversight committees are a joke. We saw the turkey last time, the tough guy and all that bullshit. They don't do nothing. They never indict. They never come, unless it's a guy that lied to a security guard at the parking attendant garage at the White House. Then they'll get you for, you paid $7. You should only pay $6. That's the stupid shit they get you. So, let's see what what's this new breaking shit though. Hang on. In a statement on Thursday evening, files from his computers. Okay. Lanny Davis indicated that Cohen, quote, has recently... See, here's where the illegal shit... This is why I knew this was going to go this way. This is breaking news. This wasn't in the category when we looked 10 minutes ago. Has recently obtained... I knew it. Quote, he has recently obtained a hard drive with 14 million files from his computers and phones from the past 10. This guy's recording everything. Oh, he don't want to go to jail. This is what they call in legal terms the old slipodictomy. The old slipodictomy. He got him. I wonder what's on them files, baby. Oh, boy. This is called Envy. It's a acai berry juice. No preservatives, no sugar. Go. He's got to scoot Cody out the door. He just stands there thinking he's just going to sit there in the doorway all night. Details. In defense of Cohen. Oh, this dog. Hang on. Go on, dude. Come on, Rube. Okay, in the... Drop my suckers fell on the ground. I dropped it on the ground. In defense of Cohen, President Trump's longtime attorney and fixer. I like how they always throw that in there, too. Like he's a mobster. Davis said the new findings could provide, quote, significant value to the various congressional oversight and investigative committees. Well, they have no teeth, so I'm not worried about them. But luckily, see, the guy's slick. He waited till the investigation was over. If he would have gave this to the special prosecutor, that guy would have had a field day with this if he didn't have it already. If it turns out the prosecutor saw these tapes or these files and he did nothing with it, then there's nothing there. It's also going to probably turn out that if he withheld this, and he's a lawyer, so he knows how to play this game, but if he withheld it intentionally from the special prosecutor, then he's looking at more charges because now you're obstructing justice. So this is a game you don't want to be in. This is way high up. Okay, defense of Cohen, President Trump's longtime attorney Davis. When did they find this? Michael Cohen's recent public and closed-door testimony. There we go. To congressional committees has triggered additional areas for investigation. These guys weren't going to let up by law enforcement authorities and who cares about Congress? They're not going to investigate anything. In fact, they didn't do 9/11. They didn't do the Kennedy thing. They're not going to do this now. There's no way. They have no teeth. They're pit bulls on the outside, but they're pit bulls that had all their teeth pulled out. Okay. In fact, Mr. Cohen has recently obtained a hard drive. How did he recently obtain his own hard drive? He's got 14 million files of everybody he's recorded in his office, and he just remembered where he put it after the investigation was closed. Obtained a hard drive. He recently obtained a hard, like somebody gave it to him? Really? Was somebody else spying on his office? With 14 million files. That guy does a lot of work, too, by the way. That's a lot of files. From his computers and phones over the past 10 years, which we believe has significant value to various congressional... Who cares about that? Yet, Michael Cohen is the only person in the Trump organization who has been prosecuted. The action against Mr. Cohen appeared to have been selective prosecution, and he set up a lawsuit. He's trying to selective prosecution, and the sentence imposed is a disproportionate one. They're saying they're excessively punishing him for him because he's saying in jail he's going to be strung out. I mean, they're not going to let him because Trump called him a rat. And when you got mobsters in federal prison, they go by a code. So by calling him that and showing that he is one, he's not going to like any place he ends up at. For him to surrender in 30 days will be a detriment to committees. See, he's going to delay his sentencing. He's got to come out. He's got to testify in front of this committee. He's not going to ever say anything. I don't recall. I did this. I don't recall. I do recall. I don't recall. I might recall. I did recall. I don't recall. And he'll delay it and delay it and delay it. And then they'll probably find one thing. And he'll get his sentence waived or whatever. This is where the game's coming in. The fall guy went down. Now the excuse is going to come up how they're going to not even send him for 1 day in jail. Watch. I don't, who are these clowns? Axios Space. Look at this guy. A spaceman wearing a briefcase. Oh, I got a great idea for that. Oh, yeah. The spaceman with the suitcase. So what do you think of this? Why would he suddenly find 14 million files? This is in the last hour this is being reported. What say you? Get alerts on the stories you can't afford to miss. Nah, I don't think I have to worry about that. Never miss a major story. Sign up for breaking news. Who are these guys? Axios. Trump approval rating. 43%. S&P up. I like the quick graph they give you. One tech thing. Amazon to launch. Look at the numbers here. Amazon to launch. 3236. 3236 satellites in orbit. When you get into these numbers and the devil, this guy's face just happens to pop right up. Look at this dork. Does he not remind you of that high school kid that's like, I'm gonna fucking sue your ass. Punch me in the head. I'll sue you so fast you'll go blind. I remember kids like that. His little smiley face, little logo. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we got 6 at the end. We got 33. 33rd degree. 32, 3, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Ow! Amazon has begun the process of squaring itself described, quote, big audacious space project with the FCC, according to public filings by GeekWire. Details. Project Kuiper. First public filings indicate the company plans to put 3236 satellites in the low orbit. Isn't that garbage can going up there soon? What if they get sucked up in the garbage truck? They're putting a garbage truck thing up there to clean up the debris that supposedly India blew up a satellite and fucked everything up. They're blaming India. You guys screwed up space. You threw all this garbage when you blew up your satellite, idiots. Now we gotta invent a what do you call it? Who's the idiot? Who's that idiot with his car in space? The fiction writer made him. He made him the spaceman to Mars in the '50s book. Musk, Felon Musk. Felon, F-E-L-O-N, Felon the Felon Musk. Where are you, baby? You can't let this dork beat you to space, man. He's gonna be the guy in the suit. Was this the guy in your car, Mr. Spaceman? Mr. Musk? You're gonna let this guy is gonna put up satellites before you, Mr. Musk? Oh, this is such a trip. Oh, did you know Axios News is scaring the heck out of a lot of entire media industry? In a new Gallup poll, 58% of Americans said the increase in news sources make it harder to stay informed. Axios, whoever this is, cuts through the bullshit and the information overload to bring you everything you need to know. Does this not sound like the beginning of one of those Netflix where it's like the black room or the dark room, and then you go in and the AI's running the mirrors and all your shit? Good morning, Mr. or Mrs. Jones. A new Gallup. This is when you first wake up. Your coffee pot turns on by itself. Cooking your coffee. And then you hear over your speaker, a new Gallup poll, sir. Today, 58% of Americans said the increase in news sources make it harder to stay informed. Axios, shut up. Axios cuts through the information, sir, so you don't have to tell me to shut up. I'm only going to tell you what you need to know. And as a bonus, Mr. Customer, my owner, I am Axios, and I am not going to tell you anything you don't want to know. And if you click this button here in this coupon code right now, you will be informed of shit you don't want to know about. But what I do, like on a serious note, I like this little dashboard. Trump approval rating, the S&P, a quick note on 2020. It's kind of cute. One tech thing, a little that's cute. One world thing. Ethiopian Airlines cruise properly followed Boeing's procedures. Yeah, right to the ground. Good job. And then I heard, hang on. Let's look up this. There's a rumor going around, and these are all check mark. Look how there's only one page. There's 585,000 results, and I get like 6 things. Right there. That's the whole thing. Next. Yeah, whoever hits next. Whoever hits next again, look at all check mark. I'm going to go all the way to the 10th page. Because I know right now, I got to get probably 100 pages out before I'm going to see anything I'm looking for. I don't want to see the CNN version of WGN, and WGN version of the AP, and the AP's version of the APP. And they're all just copying each other's shit. Same thing with all these stupid channels that are popping up. And some of them are making a fortune doing it. Can you believe this? Page 13, it stops. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Has anybody seen this? I was just freaking around. I'll go to 10, see what's on, just to get past the bullshit check marks. They saw what I'm doing. They stopped the search. 500,000 results. I get a total of 13 pages. No more button here. See this? Are you paying attention yet? I'm going to do a short clip just on this. This has to get out. Nobody's going past page 2 or 3 on their search results. They are blocking everything that you would ever want to read about a subject unless it's all pointing in the direction of the official government-based news. Or not even government, corporate-based news. It's only 5 companies own all the news. Do you see what I'm looking at? There was 500,000 replies. It let me go to page 13. That is it. And I didn't mention the theory because I wanted to see if anything would pop up. Now that they blocked us at 13, now my curiosity about the theory or the rumor going around really starts to get a little credibility by default. So now even if I didn't believe at all that the theory could even possibly be true, I have to now look into it because they clipped it. Yeah, just open it up. It's all right. All right, I gotta log this stuff. I'll be back. I'm gonna do just this news clip. This is WAG Chicago. Read it and we